Hello everyone and welcome to another Pokemon Trading Card Game live video. My name is Jamie and today I'll be taking you through a new deck which has come out from today's release, which of course is Destined Rivals. But of course, just before we do go into the video, if you do like this type of content and you want to see some more content related to the Pokemon Trading Card Game, then as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. So let's have a look at the card of today, or the deck of today. This is a new archetype in Rocket Pokemon. As you can see, there's a new trainer there on the bottom right. I believe that's Giovanni, but it's a Rocket Pokemon. This is Team Rocket Mewtwo EX. So it's a basic Pokemon with 280 HP, which is a lot of HP, especially with things like Bravery Charm. You can push it up to like 330, which is the equivalent on something like a Charizard EX, for example. And it has this attack and ability. So the ability is a bit of a drawback, it doesn't really do anything for us. However, it states that this Pokemon cannot attack unless you have 4 or more Team Rocket Pokemon in play. Its attack, however, Erasable, I believe I pronounced that correct, for 2 Psychic and a Colorless, deals 160 damage, and you can discard 2 energy from your bench Pokemon, and this attack does 60 damage for each Pokemon, each energy discarded in this way. So, it does have a resistance to fighting, weak to dark, and a retreat cost of 3, which is pretty hefty. So the idea basically is just to utilize this card here with its attack here, so Erasable, and yeah, just discard energy from your discard pile. So if you discard up to 2, that goes to 240, that's 300 damage that you can be doing. And if you had something like a Kieran or something like that, or any way to kind of bump up the attack a little bit more, then we can get to those even higher numbers. So that is the idea. So what other Pokemon best go or best pair well with Team Rocket's Mewtwo, which we have this Pokemon here, which is the obvious inclusion, which is Team Rocket's Spidops. So it has this ability here, Charging Up. So once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So that becomes the obvious inclusion. The idea here, what we want to do is put energy onto this Pokemon, and then we can attack with Team Rocket's Mewtwo, and basically just deal more damage. That is the idea. So if we have multiple Spidops on the bench, then we can attach, we can ditch 2 energy cards from each Spidops. Or sorry, that's like 1 for each Spidops, so 2 in total. And then we can attack with Mewtwo here for 300 damage. So that is the idea. That's how we get that powered up. Some other Pokemon that we have in the deck, so we do need to make sure we have Rocket Pokemon in there for many different reasons, as we'll soon see in the trainer line. We also have Team Rocket's Articuno in here as well. So it has this ability, which is quite nice. So it prevents all the effects of attacks on your opponent's from your opponent's Pokemon onto your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, so things like Mewtwo, for instance. We don't really attack with Articuno here, but it does have that effect. It's quite nice, and also, or the ability, should I say. And of course, it is a Team Rocket Pokemon, so that's also very important. So, should note that our lineup here of Spidops is a 4-3 line. We also have here just one Team Rocket's Mimikyu as well. So this has a pretty interesting attack in Gemstone Mimicry. So we can choose one of our opponent's Terra Pokemon's attack and use it as this attack, which is pretty good. So if you're faced against things like a, I don't know, like a Dragapult, for example, or you're faced like, I don't know, like a Terrapagos or something, then we can use their attacks against them. That's pretty nice. So that's when we have that in there. And of course, it is a Team Rocket Pokemon. So that is the Pokemon line. So going into the trainer line, and we have, it looks a little bit like this. We've got a lot of new trainers in here, which we kind of need to go through. So let's start with this one here. So Team Rocket's Botherbot. This is really interesting, So you turn one of your opponent's face down prize cards face up, and you choose a random card from their hand, and your opponent reveals it, and then you can have them switch it if you want. So in testing, I've taken things from their hand, like, I don't know, like a research or something, and put it in their prizes, so I knew they couldn't get it, so it kind of stays there. So it's a really interesting, it's a really interesting card, and it's an item card as well, so you don't have to waste your support over the turn. So you have that. Team Rocket's Archer here. So this kind of it's a bit similar to Fezandipity, I would say, in the respect that if you get knocked out, if you have a Pokemon that gets knocked out, then you can basically get you can shuffle your hand into your deck. So. And that is your opponent as well. You draw 5 cards, your opponent draws 3. Pretty standard, I think. So that's quite nice. Nest Ball in there because we are searching out our Mewtwo. And then we've also got this card here, Team Rocket's Petrel. So we can search your deck for a trainer card, which is pretty good late game. So that's why we've got one of those in there as well. Maximum belt as well, just to hit more damage on those EXs. So as I said, that we are capped at 300. So if we want to go that one step further and we want to get a knockout on those things like the Dragon Balls, Charizards, that kind of stuff, then that's where maximum belt really pitches in. So Mewtwo does have a pretty hefty, which there are ways of getting around it, attack cost. So we'll have a look at that very shortly. But one thing that we can do is when we're putting energy onto our discard pile, we can use things, discard pile onto our Spidops even. We can use things like Energy Switch, and we can move the energy onto our Mewtwo. So that is a viable option. That's pretty good. Ultra Ball, because we need to get our Pokemon out, but also ditch our energy cards. That's also very important. As well as Night Stretcher and one Bravery Charm. Push those Mewtwo's up to 330 HP, so that's pretty nice. We're running predominantly here Rocket cards in terms of in terms of supporters, predominantly because we have this card here, Team Rocket's Factory. This is a stadium, so once during our turn, if we have played a support card that has a Team Rocket in its name, then we can draw 2 cards. So that's why we generally, more than often, want to make sure that we're using Rocket cards, especially Rocket supporter cards. This card here, Team Rocket's Transceiver, so you can search your deck for a support card that has Team Rocket in its name, reveal it and put it in your hand, shuffle your deck, and it's an item card as well, so this is really, really good. So definitely want to max out on that. Again, another really good card is this one, Team Rocket's Ariana. So we can draw until we have 5 cards in our hand, but if all of our Pokemon are Team Rocket Pokemon, which they all are, then we can draw until we have 8, so that's really, really good. So especially when you consider that we're ditching cards with things like Ultra Ball, and we've got Earthen Vessel in there as well. Just ways of ditching cards, and then we draw until we have 8. And then, of course, if you have your Team Rocket's Factory in play, you can even draw 2 more cards. So there's a lot of cards you can be drawing. So that's when we have that in there as well. Let's go further down, see if there's anything else. So Vessels, standard, we need to get energy into the discard pile for Spidops, Buddy-Buddy. We've also got this card here as well, Team Rocket's Proton. So if we go first, we can use this card and we can search our deck for up to 3 basic Team Rocket Pokemon and then put them to our hand and shuffle our deck. So really good cards. Definitely want to have that in there, especially going first. We've got 1 rescue board in there and just the 1 bosses. So pretty standard. So it's not a bosses is not a Rocket Pokemon. Oh, sorry, Rocket Pokemon, Rocket card. But nonetheless, we still sometimes want to bring up things on the bench and knock them out. So that's why we've got that in there. Nice, so that is the trainer line. This is the energy line looking a little bit like this. So 3 grass, 3 psychic. The grass feels for Spidops, which has a pretty good attack in Rocket Rush. Does 30 damage for each Rocket Pokemon in play. So of your Rocket Pokemon in play, so we can get up to, I believe, is that 180. So it's not bad. And also 180 also hits some weakness as well. So 180, that's 360. We can one-shot things like Charizard and stuff like that. So anything that's kind of weak to grass, that's pretty good. And of course the Psychic, which feels for Mewtwo here. But also we have another special energy card here in Team Rocket Energy. So this can only be attached to a Team Rocket Pokemon. And if this is attached to another Pokemon, then you discard the card basically. But as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon or a Team Rocket Pokemon, it provides any 2 combination of Psychic and Dark Energy. So that's pretty good. So we can get our Mewtwo powered up even more quicker there. So we just need the 1 more energy after that. And that's why we have things like Spidops with charging up and Energy Switch, so that can help us out as well. So that is the deck. There's a lot to go through there, lots of new cards there, but that's a theory of the deck, just to go down the route of using Mewtwo and just try to hit those big numbers, so very, very strong. But as always, that is a theory. Let's play a game with it and see how it plays out. Okay, so we get the choice of going first or second. Let's go with first. Why not? So we do run supporter cards, which we can use on our first turns, and that's very good. Oh, okay, weird. Saying our opponent can choose. Okay, weird. It asked me if I want to go first or not. Maybe it's just a glitch. So, okay, so we'll go first anyway, nonetheless. Okay, not too sure what's happened there, but nonetheless, that's all okay. Generally speaking, you do want to go first with this because we do run this, our Team Rocket's Proton, which we did not draw a basic. And that helps us to set up. And we do have Buddy-Buddy there as well. That's fine. Nice. What have they got? Okay, Pidgeot in there. Okay, cool. All right, 2 Mewtwo. Okay, so I think our setup's pretty nice. I quite like our setup. So we do have there. Let's click done. All right, so yeah, we can we have a few options here actually. We can Buddy-Buddy. Oh, Charizard. Okay, interesting. Alright, maybe Mewtwo is not the play here then, if it's Charizard. Let's use Buddy-Buddy. Let's get that out, because we're going to Spidops out pretty quickly. Cool. Let's stick Psychic on our Mewtwo, and the next time we can go with Rocket Energy. And we can also Ultra Ball there as well. We can Ultra Ball 2 away and get us 1 Spidops out. That seems like a pretty solid play. So this deck is very aggressive, actually. It's quite aggressive, this deck, so we'll see what they do. But yeah, normally speaking, basic decks generally do tend to hit a little bit harder anyway. But let's see. Okay, so treat clever maybe, that might be the bosses. Okay, makes sense. That's fine. We'll see how do we get around that, which is a bit annoying. Well, we could Ultra Ball. We need to get, yeah, that's a bit annoying actually. That is a bit annoying. We do run a rescue board. We'll see what we draw. Okay, it's Team Rocket's Botherbot. Why not? Let's just pick 5, pick a random one. What is that? As an Ultra Ball, and picks them from the hand. Oh, they've got another bosses in there. Yeah, we'll switch that around. Why not? There we go. Why not? So, and interesting, the prize card stays face up as well. You can just see the prize card. So it can also be a benefit to them in some respects, depending how you look at it. So, yeah, this is really annoying, actually. So what we can do is we can Rocket Energy there. But then we put 2... do we have anything in deck to try and draw? I don't think of the deck list. I don't think we have any Pokemon in the deck as such. So, alright, unfortunately, we'll have to pass on that. It's very annoying because I would like to have knocked out that, or tried to knock out that Charmander in the active. But, yeah, because we can attach to the active, retreat that, but then we would need this single attachment for the turn, which we don't have. That's a bit annoying. But that's okay. We'll hold out. So, oh, they had Iono anyway. Okay, Mew. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, they didn't want to play Iono. Okay. So, so next turn we can also, yeah, we can hit with Mewtwo. We can get a knockout on that. So if that Charmeleon stays active, presume, I don't know why they're going aggro Charmeleon there when they've got a Clefairy on the bench, unless they've got something. Okay, they're just going for the knockout. Okay, fair enough. That also works. Alright, active, so we're going to have this anyway. Oh, we got a spot anyway. Okay, that's fine. So, there's one. Alright, we can ditch some energy into this discard pile. That's also okay. Let's see what we want to ditch. So, actually, we could also use, if we wanted to, we could also use Mimikyu against them if we really wanted to. Hit them because Charizard is a Terra Pokemon, but that's not really going to do much for our part. But maybe it's a late game thing. But if we can power up our Spidops here, even Spidops is pretty decent against Charizard. But we need to max out our bench a little bit more just to get those numbers. Let's use Charging Up. I just realized we don't have any cards in hand. That's not good. We will get a knockout, of course, though. So let's use that. Something to keep in mind as well, we are weak to Dark, so no, we don't want to ditch anything. So yeah, we're weak to Dark as well, so that's also not a good... it's also not good. So yeah, we're going to try and max out our bench here a little bit. So we're not drawing much. Okay, well that helps, I guess. So okay, that's not bad. So if we max out our bench with that, and they have Charizard, we can knock them out back. So we've got the Revenge KO there. That's pretty nice. And we've also got a Energy and Discard pile as well, so we can use Charging Up with Spidops. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. This is basic Pokemon, Team Rocket basic Pokemon. Yep. So let's see. Okay. I think they only start first, right? Okay, it's a very weird sequencing of play, but we'll take it. Just going to alright. Let's try and max out our bench a little bit. So let's get another one of those. Cool. So we can actually bring this to hand. We don't have to worry about effects Mimikyu just in the way. Why not? Just deck them a little bit. There we go. And stick a Mewtwo. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if it was worth sticking that on the Mewtwo actually, but whatever. That's fine. Cool. Nice. Yeah, no, I guess. Keep the pressure on. But it's good that we actually... No, we don't want to discard that. It's good that we have another Team Rocket Pokemon in hand, because if this gets knocked out, if our Mewtwo gets knocked out from a Charizard, especially because we're with then we can revenge KO with Spidops here. So if you stick Mimikyu on the bench, that is 6 times 3, 6 plus 1, 18, 360, that's Charizard. Okay. Charizard. Okay, so it's 40, so they're going to be okay. They're going to be there. That's okay. Go Spidops. So I think between Psyche and Grass, I think so. Especially with Spidops, it's a very good alternative attacker to have. Let's just use that Nest Ball. Cool. Yeah, we don't really need Articuno. Do you know what? I think it probably would have been better actually to use Ultra Ball and just get the Spidops out, but that's fine. We can do that next turn. Yeah, why not? We're just deck thin. I was just thinking to deck thin, so. Cool. Let's use charge. There we go, charging up. And let's get a... we'll get a Psychic. Why not? It is a Grass and Psychic, so we'll leave a Grass in there just in case we need it for another Pokemon. Just for whatever reason. Ultra Ball for... No, we don't. We'll keep that in hand. So 360. Nice. Good stuff. Rocket Rush for the knockout. So Mewtwo is not the MVP, so it would seem that Spidops is the one. Cool, nice. Okay, we've got a Team Rocket Factory there. Well, we need a support card to use that. But we'd have a Team Rocket Energy as well, so we can... yeah, not bad. Not bad. So we just need one more knockout. Ideally on... What is that? So what do we... Okay, so you're going to choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon use attack. That's okay. You're not going to do any damage to us. That is absolutely fine. I am a-okay with you copying my attack. This is only for your Team Rocket in play, not for your opponent's Team Rocket. Restart for 1. Okay. Pidgeot. Yeah, that would make sense. Go into Pidgeot and get yourself a support card, like a Research, I guess, or something like that. So we can actually, we're still missing 2 Spidops here. Well, we're missing some more Spidops, but we can actually get a knockout. Wait, did you just get? You just got a Fire Energy from that Quick Search. Okay. All right. So I believe Mew is only your active Pokemon, so that doesn't do any damage. That shoots on your active Pokemon's attack. Okay, that was a bit strange. Okay. Cool. So we want to go... I mean, does that knockout? That is one. It's 180. That's knockout. Right. Okay. I was going to get Mewtwo out, put Rocket Energy there. You've also got... we've got a Transceiver. Then we can get another substantial card of Factory. It's definitely quite well. I quite like it. But for the sake of convenience, we'll just... What that is. Why was I showing that? Oh, sorry. It's just Rocket out. Interesting game. But at least it shows you the concept of the deck and how the deck runs. So yeah, I think I mean it's very nice together. It's very nice together. But yeah, but Is it competitive enough in the format? I presume it will be. But either way, I'll leave the link in the description or the deck list in the description box below if you guys want to go and check that out yourself and tell me what changes you would make. But otherwise, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you do like this type of content and you want to see some more content related to the Pokemon trading card game. And yeah, that is pretty much it. That is Team Rocket Mewtwo EX for you. So thank you very much for watching and see you all in the next one.